It is your Friday drive time, 4 till 6 with me, Owen Palmer-Atkin. Normally John Sinclair's here, not today though, he's training for a new job. I'm joined in the studio by the usual crooks, of course. We've got Alan Young. Alan, hello, how are you?
What's your name again?
My name is Owen Palmer-Atkin.
Hello, Owen Palmer-Atkin. Lovely to see you again, and it's really great to see that you've brushed your teeth.
Thank you very much. Also in the studio, we've got Dave Sullivan from Sporting Glassware. Hello, Dave.
Good afternoon, Owen. How are you?
I'm not too bad, not too shabby. How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm getting a bit confused by all this music then.
All this music, it's called a bed. Okay, and finally in the studio...
That put you in your place, pal. In other words, sit down and shut up.
Also in the studio with us, we have 100% LCFC editor, Phil Holloway. Phil, how are you doing?
I'm really good. How are you, Owen?
I'm not too bad. So as you can tell, we've got a jam-packed studio today and a jam-packed show. We're going to get through an awful lot. And of course, you heard Kasabian and Easy to start us off, because we thought, Alan, didn't we? We thought it was a very good, feel-good song.
Do you know, it's your choice. It's Owen's choice, everybody. And I think he's made a great choice, because I think we can make it relate it to last Saturday at Southampton, where there's nothing but, I've never heard any so much doom and gloom coming over the airwaves, on the social media, and honestly, it's made me want to switch the stuff off, because I just cannot believe, alright, you're third bottom of the league, but for goodness sake, be positive, everybody. The game, we're not even into December yet, and everybody, doom and gloom, there are doom and gloom merchants everywhere. We've got to stay positive, we've got to, all the players will be thinking that as well, the manager will be thinking that. How many complained last season? How many people rung in and said we were hopeless, we were rubbish, and all that kind of stuff? And it does make me a wee bit angry. It's my football club, as it is yours, everybody. You're all entitled to your opinions. But for goodness sake, try and keep them positive, because it all feeds through. It all feeds through to the team, to the players, to the other supporters. Stay together. And if we fragment, then we're going nowhere. It's as simple as that.
It's infectious, isn't it, positivity?
Absolutely, of course. It breeds, you know, one comment, it breeds another one, good comments, and then you maybe get your wee break on the pitch. Sunderland's going to be getting spoken about or discussed on the programme today. But the supporters, I tell you what, support is so vital. You just do not know. Everybody who's listening to this show, and there should be an awful lot more listening to this show instead of that other rubbish. But you know, you've got honestly, you honestly don't know just how big a role you're going to play between now and the end of the season.
It's about being realistic as well, Al, isn't it? You know, we've gone down to Southampton and people are all doom and gloom about us getting beat at Southampton. They've won 8 games on the trot, they've only conceded 5 goals, and only one of those at home. Okay, we didn't play particularly well, we didn't take the game to them, the tempo wasn't great as it was earlier in the season. But was it really realistic to expect a result there? We all wanted something.
Well, why not? Why not? Why not go there with all the optimism?
Absolutely right.
No, the thing is though, if you go there with that optimism, everybody, I can feel it coming back on the bus. I've met the supporters coming back on the buses at the service station, and there's sort of mixed emotions. You know, I think people are willing to accept if we play well,
yes,
and if we've tried hard. And I think that's probably what people are latching onto now. It doesn't seem as though that we're really trying. Wrong. No professional footballer in my era anyway, I'm pretty sure it's the same now, nobody goes on the pitch not to try or not to do well. That's a complete fallacy. It might look that way because other teams in the ascendant saying they're playing a bit better, etc., etc. But coming home from Southampton, I understand the supporters' pain, their heartache, their disappointment more than anything, I think. But I can hear the ones that go, but we'll get it right next week. You can hear the positive one. I can hear them now in my ears for the last season, and I'm quite sure it's going to happen this season too.
Yeah.
And we've got a jam-packed show coming up today here at 99.2 Hammer GFM, and well, let's first of all turn to someone who isn't here today. He's starting a new job, John Sinclair. I'm filling in for him today and next week. I think he'll be along later on. And
who?
John Sinclair, Alan.
John who?
John Sinclair. He was here.
John Sinclair.
He was here last week.
Is that him that made them little moped things that you whirl about on?
That was his granddad. That was Clive Sinclair.
Oh, Clive. Right, sorry, I got the
Clive Sinclair. Yes. But yeah, he's starting a new job today, and therefore here I am.
He's not coming in.
He's not coming in?
No, he phoned me earlier and he says he's not coming in. He might phone,
Oh, okay.
but he says he's too busy.
So we might hear from John Sinclair a little later on, but coming up on the show then today, we're going to talk a little bit about Southampton, but we're mainly going to focus on positivity, aren't we?
What do you think I've just been doing?
So we're focusing on positivity today.
Dear me. John Sinclair, hurry up and come back.
He didn't know who he was a minute ago.
Hey, not bad at all. I love that.
Even though
I
it says
didn't
it
realise just how much I like that.
Yes, that was James Blunt and Bonfire Heart, if you're wondering. Dave Sutherland.
They're a wee bit better than First Direction, let me tell you.
And you got the name right, yeah, it was definitely James Blunt.
James Blunt.
Easy. No, before the song. Sorry, Phil, I'm interrupting you.
I can't get away.
You can't get one. No.
I'll just say a tweeting.
No, the negativity after the game, the post-match, about Leicester City at 6s and 7s. Right, that's an easy thing to say. That's a throwaway remark. Is the manager's, I can't quite remember the actual quote, but it was to do with.
Is it curtains?
Huh?
Is it curtains? I think wasn't it?
No, is it curtains for Nigel Pearce or something like that? And the games. If Woody had scored, the game's over. Game, set and match. I think I heard. And Woody had scored. There's 3 minutes left. So
Plus added time. Plus added time.
2-1, 3 minutes, added time. Why is it all over? If I'm on the pitch, it isn't blooming well over.
Burnley didn't think it was all over 6 minutes into injury time, did they?
Well, I'm not bothered about Burnley. I'm bothered about us.
I'm just talking about
No,
attitude,
but
players'
that's
attitudes.
it. Well, the thing is, it goes in the back of the net. It's a costly miss. You got maybe 6-7 minutes to get an equaliser. It only takes a second to score a goal, for goodness sake. What do you think, Phil? Go and say
We
something.
were talking earlier this week about the fine lines at Leicester City this season. That's why I don't think there is any need for panic, and I think some fans are overreacting because they are the fine lines. If Chris Wood pops that one in, then we can go on and get a draw. If that fine line against Burnley, we kept that one out. If we didn't give away that own goal against West Brom, it's such fine lines. And we're talking about lots of points difference here, where 3 or 4 points can take you way up the table.
But you have to have everybody pulling the same way, Phil. You have to have everybody on the same ship, knowing their jobs.
Yeah.
And I mean everybody. I mean press, I mean social media, I mean radio, I mean television, I mean supporters, players, managers, chairman, everybody on the same ship, ploughing the same furrow, and not being negative about things. Not coming out with comments like before a match that you're going to get beat.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it is a time to almost everybody to pull together. I totally agree with that. I think some fans are. I think people are entitled to their own opinion, but I think it's just a bit early.
Positive,
yeah, I think so. I think it's too early to be. I've said this to Dave earlier in the week, and we did a quick video on it. The Pearson Out Brigade, and there is a Pearson Out Brigade. There's no point denying it.
There always will be. There's one of them. It's at every football club.
Absolutely. Some people just won't like him.
It's a vendetta, isn't it?
Well, how many managers have gone already?
Yeah.
Uwe Rosler,
but
just yesterday.
Those people who do subscribe to not liking Nigel Pearson, if a few results go against us in the Championship or now in the Premier League, they're very, very quick to crawl out from underneath the stones, and they are entitled to their opinion. It is a game of opinions. They should.
But it's the easiest thing in the world to criticise.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, look at the press already. Pellegrini at Manchester City. They're even thinking that he's going to lose his job. He's in the top 4, he's been in Europe, he's won the Champions. Dear me.
I think, wasn't it in a local Leicestershire paper last week? It was Pellegrini, Van Gaal, Nigel Pearson, of course, Alan Pardew, Sean Dyche, and I think one more. People who, under the strange, in the strange world of football that we live in and we enjoy, are under pressure for their jobs. I mean, you look at some of those people. Louis Van Gaal, of course, that is a hot seat, isn't it? Manchester United. How long can someone last in there other than Alex
Moyes never lasted too long, did he?
Precisely. And Louis Van Gaal, he's spent.
But the thing is, this is what
nearly £150 million, and he's still in the same position.
We've covered this already on. We've covered this earlier on about managers looking over their shoulders at this stage in the season. For goodness sake, it borders on the ridiculous for me. Absolutely, it's nonsense. And I tell you what, this is where the press and the media come into play, because the press can keep you your job, and the media can keep you your job, or they can lose you your job.
That's right.
The good thing about Mr. Pearson, I'll call him, I usually call him Nigel, Mr. Pearson, because I think he needs a wee bit more respect than that. Since he's been back here, he's never gone over the top when we've won. And the same way, he's never been too downhearted and disillusioned when we've lost. He's kept an even keel all the way through. And he's kept it that way all the way through a fantastic championship year and into the Premiership now. Why should he change? Why does everybody say he wants to change? Why are there people asking for his head? I find it crazy.
I think there's a statistic as well, Alan, and you know I like a stat now and again, and I found a stat earlier on this week that suggests that no club that's been in the bottom 3 of a Premiership season before Christmas that's fired a manager has gone on to survive.
Yes.
Now, it's a big upheaval when you change your manager, because the previous manager, whether it's Nigel Pearson or whether it's another club somewhere else, Wigan, for example, at the moment, who have just got rid of Uwe Rosler. Uwe Rosler would have brought players in that he thought were going to do the job for him this season.
I mean,
another manager comes in and he might not like those players, so he's got a lot of changes to go through.
They were one of my favourites to go.
Yeah.
Wigan.
In fact, Uwe Rosler said last May, May the 14th it was in fact, that Wigan were going to win the league this year under his guidance. 3 months into the season, he's no more
Too early.
athletic.
Too early to be making those. In my opinion, it's way too early to make a judgment to sack a manager of any club at this stage of a season. I think you're in a very precarious position to make that call.
Especially in the Championship. Now, obviously, Leicester City win the Championship for a few years now in the Premier League. But you know, the Championship is one of those divisions where you can win 2 games and absolutely fly up the league.
It's the same in the Premier League,
it is,
though.
absolutely.
I mean, certainly this season, yeah.
We're 1.4 points off. If we'd have got that point against Burnley, 2 points.
It's the fine margins.
Those fine margins. We wouldn't be having these debates because we would be sat nicely in mid-table.
Quite simply, two home results for me are the disappointing ones. Yeah, you're always going to have disappointing results, and you're always going to have positive ones. And I agree with Al completely that you need to keep a positive hat on. But if you look at the Burnley game, had we have won that, 2 more points. Had we have not had the quite comical own goal, which was big misfortune.
Which it was.
It was. That's 3 points you could very, very easily, without misconstruing anything and saying maybe we could have got a draw at.
You see, but the thing is with
3 points
supporters,
makes a big difference.
The thing is with supporters is that if we beat Burnley and got hammered 5-1 with Manchester United, the supporters would have accepted that.
Correct.
I think that's what
in a strange way.
Yeah, in a strange way. The great start we had with draws against Arsenal and Everton and the victory over Man United, I think in a way, if we'd have lost to those and then picked up points against West Brom, Burnley, Palace, I think fans would have been more positive that we were still on 9 points.
Yeah, they reckon that we've started the season the wrong way round.
Yeah, if you'd have took the groups of 5 fixtures and swapped them over, then arguably people would accept that. But you'd also be in a situation now where you say we're on the up, whereas at the moment we started well and our form on paper has taken a dip.
Yes, but then you have to look at. We spoke about this a couple of shows ago, actually, in that there's a couple of games where, of course, you look immediately at Newcastle, you look immediately at West Bromwich Albion. Those games we were never fully out of. We might not have scored, but we're only 1-2 goals away from games.
We've discussed this every time.
Although for Burnley, sorry, I think, although yes, it would have been nice to have 3 points, then you have to look. I think personally it was a foul by Matty James, and I thought that maybe Kasper Schmeichel left a little bit too much of his goal a little open, and I thought, I'm left-footed, and when Wallace stood up for that free kick, I thought, well, I'm left-footed, he's left-footed, I know exactly where he's going to put it. He's going to put it in that side netting, because it was the natural thing to do. He had so much to aim at, it was unbelievable, and we were sat in the stand thinking, what, Kasper, why are you leaving that much space open? To a guy who had scored a free kick very similar the week previous, the Saturday before, he'd scored an exact same free kick almost.
I agree. I was sat in the family stand, and you could see before it went in that it was going to go in. But I don't think we can criticise Kasper
for one giving away the free kick in that area. But if you go back to you spoke about Newcastle United there. We got beat 1-0 with about 15 minutes to go. I think it was, Dave. 1-0. At Newcastle away, tough fixture. What did Newcastle United do after that? Went to Spurs and won. Went to Manchester City and won.
Liverpool.
Aye, Liverpool. You look at them. They're flying now again.
But the same could be said
And
of
just
Swansea.
one goal against Newcastle
Yep.
United, and they've gone and spanked Spurs and spanked Manchester City. What does that
Oh, hi,
tell
John.
you?
I'll put you on in 2
And
minutes.
Swansea as well, we got, for me, we didn't play again brilliantly, but we only got beat 2-0 and not played off the park at Swansea. And again, fine lines, Cambiasso nodding against the post, again, if that had gone in, a few minutes left in the game to chase. And they last weekend went a goal down to Arsenal and came back and beat them 2-1.
I think
Clearly
also,
a good side again, you know.
Yeah.
We've played 8 out of the current top 10, by the way.
we need a win. The simple thing, the medicine that you need, right, that you need to take now is a couple of large spoonfuls of
It
wins.
is 5:05 here, and of course at 5:05 on this particular show, we do the FFF. Alan, what is the FFF?
All together now. It's the
Far-Flung Foxes!
And we've got a few here, Owen. Apart from Simon Villadis, who's just got in touch with us via Twitter from Adelaide, we've got Ash Allen, and Ash is in Christchurch in New Zealand. Hi Ash. Steve Wright Massey, he's also in New Zealand, West Auckland to be precise, and he says Blue Army. Craig Richardson, thanks Craig for telling us it's 40 degrees in Sydney, Australia. Thanks very much, pal. I'm quite sure you're there on your beach with your surfboard and your bottle of lager and
It's not 40 here, Craig.
all that kind of stuff, But I'll tell you what, here's the best one of the lot. Jed Vara. Jed Vara, guess where? Can anybody guess where Jed's from? Alright, I'll tell you.
It's not Thailand, is
Jed
it?
is from...
Thailander?
No, Jed is from the Democratic Republic of Braunston. so, so there you are, Jed. Maybe not the furthest flung fox, but certainly one after all. Keep them all coming in.
A funny flung fox.
A funny flung fox, or a fairly nearly flung fox.
It's all FFF,
You
isn't
have
it?
to be very careful how you say these, Jed, let me tell you. But listen, thanks for listening to the show, everybody, and getting in contact with us. It's great fun, but we listen, just because you're in Australia or New Zealand or wherever, doesn't mean to say you're not part of all this. We want you to feel part of it. It's for your show. There's Owen just dropped a ricket there for a minute, but we'll let him off.
No. Something happened to the CD then. My mistake. My mistake. I'll put my hands up.
Well, I'm just going to say to everybody who's getting in touch, great stuff. We really appreciate you making the effort to join the show.
And that is the Far-Flung Fox for this week. We just had a tweet come through from Dave Coleman, and he says, "Great show, lads, making me smile. Tell Alan I once saw him waddle around a pitch with those bandy legs. Happy memories. Scotland's number 1. Or should that be number 9?
I take exception to waddling. I do not waddle. I have never waddled in my life, Mr. Buchanan. But yes, bandy legs, I am guilty of those. Number 1 on my back, I did have for a brief spell in the second half against
Shrewsbury, yeah, I knew that was coming out.
But it would be number 9. And I've never waddled. I ran. I suppose it's a backhanded compliment, isn't it? Cheers, Dave.
I guess so, yeah. That's Dave Coleman there from Ibstock. You heard him earlier being interviewed here for Hermitage FM. Now, Phil, there's been a lot of debate in the last few weeks, hasn't there, regarding Leicester City, and obviously 100% LCFC have quite a large sort of following on social networks. So
Massive, some would say.
some would say, okay, let's
No,
re-say
it is.
that.
It's good. It's really good. It's
Owen,
really good.
we asked the fans this week, we said with international break coming up, it's a good time to have a little reflection on where Leicester are. And we asked the fans what's their assessment so far of the season and let us know our thoughts. And they've been doing that in the big numbers on the Facebook and social media sites and 100lcfc.com. If it's okay, I'm going to read out a few of the comments from some of the chaps and
That's
fans
more than
that come
okay,
in.
Phil, go away.
So we had Mark Nelson. He said to us, I can accept setting up defensively away from home, but West Brom at home, we were lacking. We were there for the taking. I think he's been a little bit pessimistic there, but
No,
that's
West Brom at home were
Yes.
there for the taking, not we were
Oh,
there.
sorry,
for the taking. Yeah, West Brom were there for
it's
the
my
taking.
reading that's a little bit lacking there. Yeah, I think West Brom were there for the taking, weren't they?
Without a doubt.
So I think he's got a good point there. Sean Allen Wright said to us, he said, come on, it's the hardest league, and we are one of those newly promoted teams. So let's be true Blue fans and stay committed to the team. And he goes, #in Pearson we trust. I think
Good lad.
I think
Well
he speaks
done.
for a lot of people, and I think that's what we're sort of saying tonight. Is
Yeah.
Let's get backing.
Well
Pearson.
done.
Let's calm
We
down.
have to keep reminding ourselves that we set off at the start of this season saying 17th would be good enough, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we said that a few weeks, Alan, and you shouted us down a little bit, which
I
is
did,
fair
yeah.
enough.
I stand by it.
Yeah.
Stand by it.
You're aiming
Mid-table.
higher.
Absolutely. Why not?
Yeah,
For
why
goodness
not?
sake, why not? I mean,
we're 2 points off.
if you,
I'm not-
yeah, you're only about 4 points off the top half of the league.
We're not
for
saying aim
goodness
for
sake.
17th, but 17th would be good enough, wouldn't it?
I think for a
Staying
first
in the
season
Premier League first is the most important thing, isn't it?
and building, but
I think you want to be safe. You want to be safe as soon as possible
Agreed.
yeah.
before the end of the season. And then once that little bit of pressure relaxes a bit, you might be able to get a wee bit more freedom in
Yeah.
your play. You know, take a few more risks,
Mhm.
make that pass that you might think twice about because, I don't want to lose the ball or give it away.
Yeah.
All these things come into it. So it's round about the 40-point mark, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think if you're looking for that, you get that, 3 or 4 games to go.
See, we
You know.
spoke about this earlier in the week with Phil at 100% LCFC TV, and it was something that you and I spoke about a few weeks ago. If we can average 2 points per game at home, that gets you to 38.
Yeah.
Your 3 points that we got in the bag early doors, Stoke would take as a bonus away from home. But that's where we need to be broadly, is 2 points
You
per
know,
game.
it doesn't
minimum.
really matter how the goals
No,
come
I
or
agree.
how the game's progressing here at the minute. We want to win a game. We want to just win a game just to reinforce our faith in ourselves, in the team, in the players, everything. Every team needs a win. There are other teams that are in the same situation as us, but we've got to come through it. I believe we've got the players who can do it. I've got the players, you know, you look at them. Wesley Morgan, for the last 2 or 3 seasons, has been an absolute colossus. Kasper Schmeichel has improved immensely. And here's another thing that we worked out earlier on for everybody out there. You look at international breaks and you usually think Arsenal, you think Chelsea, you think Manchester City, you think Manchester United losing all their players. I wonder if you know how many internationals past and present we will. Past, Paul Konchesky, David Ewan. But at the minute, I'm not so sure of Vasilevsky. I'm not sure if Marston's been bought
not
into the
quite picked at
Poland
the
squad.
moment, I think.
12 players. We have 12 international players.
Past or present.
Oh no, but, well, 14 past or present. But what does that tell you? Does that tell you that we're a poor team? Does that tell you that we you know, okay, Anthony Yokart's under 21, Liam Moore's under 21. But look at Cambiasso, okay, he's not maybe not playing so much. Jeffrey Sloop, Ujoa, I think's playing for Argentina. Chris Wood. What about Chris Wood today?
Scored, didn't he, today, I believe?
Right.
Scored for the
Scored
All Whites.
4 minutes from time to get a draw, and youngest ever New Zealand captain.
There you are,
Yeah.
Woody. He's gone all the way around the world to score a goal in China.
But-
Did they draw 1-1?
Yeah, they drew 1-1.
4
Now he's
minutes to go, he's popped up, got one in, the captain's job. Well done, son.
international captain that can barely get a kick.
I wonder, can he get in the team? There's
Absolutely.
another anomaly for you.
Must be a
Where's
little bit
Woody?
frustrated.
Oh,
Well-
totally frustrated he will be.
He must be
But
thinking, I want a chance.
hey, it's a test of character, let me tell you. It's
It
a
is, I
test
mean,
of character. Let me just go to Kasper Schmeichel, Big Vasilevsky, Anthony Nyokar, Andy King,
Well, Anthony Knockout, sorry, Alan.
under 21.
But Knockers, not didn't make the squad.
Raheem
Again.
Mahrez, Liam Moore, Chris Wood, Jeffrey Sloop, all international players.
And good youth as well in there. So good prospects.
And there's the other thing as well. You look deeper into the club, you see what's going on at that academy. You would not believe your eyes the amount of talent that is in that academy.
The development team's
in
doing
a few years'
exceptionally well.
time, it'll be worth millions and millions of pounds. And that was a big thing that Nigel flagged up. You know, was part of his job, part of the restructuring and rebuilding of the club. And by heavens, they're doing a good job.
Coming back to Chris Wood, though, I mean, I think when he's had his chances with Leicester this season, he's done well. You know, he came on against Everton, scored that goal for us. Probably could and should have scored last weekend. His confidence can't be too badly hit. He's gone away. His international manager sees something in him that's enough for them to give him the captain's armband at the age of 22, and he's come up with a goal again today. So, you know, sometimes you might look at players that are on the outside and think, I bet he's a bit miffed at not getting any chances. But I think that shows the level of professionalism in Chris Wood, from my point of view, that he's on the bench, he's not getting an awful lot, but he's staying up there and he's upbeat, as we've spoken about on the show earlier on about everybody staying upbeat. And he's gone out there and he's scored an international goal for himself, and fair play to him, good luck to him.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look, it's not always going to be the greatest of feelings knowing you're going to be on the bench when you've got the likes of Leonardo Ulloa, Jamie Vardy, David Nugent ahead of you in Nigel Pearson's selection.
Yeah, but if they're ahead of you, it's up to you to get your head down in training and impress the manager enough.
Of course.
And say to him, hey Gaffer, pick me, you know. But also, your attitude's got to be spot on in that dressing room.
But
if you're not playing and you're causing problems in that dressing room or on the training pitch by being sulky and moody, now I won't say who I'm talking about here, but I think you can maybe make up your own minds. Maybe that's the reason he's maybe not been on the bench. I just, I hazard the thought. But if a person, if one of the players is being a bit disruptive, angry, daft tackles, stuff like that. We had one guy when I played, and he tried it on. He smashed into Lineker because Lineker was in the team and he wasn't. He got the biggest hiding in his life. He's got ginger hair. I won't tell you who he is. He got the biggest hiding in his life that night because of the tight unit of the team. We're not having you. And he wasn't liked. He wasn't liked. But he tried hard. He was a decent player and he scored goals. And when I played with him, I did my best for him as well because he's a member of my football team, right? That's what happens. Sometimes happens in training. Sometimes happens attitude, moaning, groaning, sulking, all that kind of stuff. So it's very, very important that you keep that out of the dressing room and keep it off the pitch.
That is actually one of the rumours. I was obviously on the Colville and Ashby supporters bus going to the game at Southampton on Saturday, and one of the talking points of the bus is that apparently the reasoning for Nick Powell not being in the side or on the bench in the last few weeks is that he hasn't been pulling his weight in training and he hasn't been working hard.
Where did they get that information?
I'll keep my sources close to my chest.
Come on, get it out.
At this particular moment
No,
time.
come on, who was it?
But do you think...
who was it?
Alan, do you think that...
No.
In your time as a footballer...
I'm not answering your question.
Okay. Dave, I'm going to come to you now.
Cheap shot.
No, I mean, it's just a rumour. But
there's lots of rumours of a couple of players as well. I'm not going to say what they are.
There's
we
always
have
going
to in of why they're not in the team. There is players like
there wouldn't be
Mark
rumours.
Galt.
If you're top of the league,
Yeah.
there wouldn't be rumours.
No.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
People and fans want to start saying...
I'm interested on this Nick Powell thing. I can't get this out of my head.
you think...
A young lad that's come from Manchester United who's learned all the good habits in the world under Mr. Ferguson, the best manager in the world by a country mile, by the way. Look at Drinkwater, look at Mike James, look at Richie Dillard, look at their attitudes.
But they came through the Manchester United academy, unlike Nick Powell, who came through at Crewe Alexandra. I mean, I haven't got anything against their academy, and it's a very good... I mean, you look at Crewe Alexandra's side.
Crewe Alexandra have produced an awful lot of very good
and adjacent
players.
to the topic, an adjacent point...
Neil Lennon, who's Crewe?
Crewe Alexandra
Robbie Savage.
have one of the youngest sides in the
David
football
Platt.
league, and they've in fact produced most of their players from their academy. It's a fantastic academy and one that young footballers would be welcome to.
Well, let's get back to Mr. Powell.
Okay, we'll get back to Mr. Powell.
My guess about Mr. Powell is here on loan, and there were some stories not so long ago about him going back if he doesn't get some first team action.
Yes.
That seems to tie in with what we're saying here.
I think
he's
that
probably got the
sounds
hump a little bit
feasible.
because he's come here on loan.
Expected to play.
Well, come from Man United, comes
He's
to
got
Leicester on
player.
loan to get playing experience, playing the Premiership for Leicester City, who he might see as a second tier side in this division, and expect to walk into the side, and it hasn't happened. Maybe that's why he's got the hump.
Yeah, but
if that's
Manchester
what's
United
happening.
have gone on the record as saying that they're not happy with the situation. They've let him go out because they want him to play games. Simple as that. They want it all part of his education, his football and education. So you might see him feature, you might not.
He looked quite good.
He looked decent,
yeah,
didn't he?
I thought he
Very
looked decent. He had a
mobile.
few flashes,
I
yeah.
agree.
He was mobile, he was around the pitch.
I'd like to
Couple
see
of nice
90 minutes
touches.
of him.
I'd be quite interested to see a little bit more of him.
Because I was actually... he came on against West Bromwich Albion. He was quite
Yeah,
lively. He was
he
in and around. He was using his physique well. He was spraying balls out. And I was obviously Alan Youngy. You said last Friday that he was going to start off run by himself. I was quite surprised to not see him in the starting 11. I mean, of course, we've got Andy King. Nigel Pearson went for the four central midfield sort of midfield
Diamond,
diamond. And it almost says, well, you've got 4 central midfielders in front of a lad who's on loan from Man United. So, and of course, Mr. Nigel Pearson came out after the game and said that that was his strongest side that he could possibly play. So, you know, maybe it is one of those things. Is it the players or is it the system?
No, it's not the system. I mean, people ask me this every week. People have come up about the system and they're not happy with the you know, we midfield diamond and no width and stuff like that. So, you know, everybody has an opinion. But when all said and done, the players that are put out there on the pitch at the start of the game, whatever system you're playing, it's down to players. It's not down to the systems. Believe you, it's not down to the systems. But you know, a lot of things. Here's one for Jack Kent. Started brilliantly, some would say. We overachieved, but since Man U, we've stopped playing like an upbeat championship and started trying to play like a Premier League side, which hasn't worked. Now, Jack, I don't understand that. I don't understand. You're trying to play like a Premier League side. You are a Premier League side. We are a Premier League side because we're in the Premier League. And of course you've got to try and play like the Premier. If you don't, then you're not going to win any games.
Robin Humphries tweeted in and he said, Nigel Pearson is trying to find a way to play and win without giving away goals against the teams and not just going for the win. He says, I think he's close with what he's doing, but time will tell. And patience and belief in him has worked before, and we should all stick with him. Not that, I think that's a general thing. Alan Davenport's also tweeted and said, as long as we finish 4th from bottom, it's been a good season and it's going to be a very long, hard job. James Berry has said, as good as expected, we never thought it was going to be easy. Some tactical adjustments are required, plus a new left back. But I think we're good enough to stay up. And I think Richard Delatte, by the way, has signed a new contract.
Yes, Richard Delatte signed a new 4-year deal at the club to tie him down until 2019.
Yeah.
So
personally, I'm a big Richard Delatte fan. I think he bombs forward and he's
I think
pretty
he's
good at
still
that,
got to be. I thought he cured it. I still think he's got to be aware of the space behind him.
He does leave
He
massive
really
gaps
does.
because of his pace bombing forward.
Aye, but you see, the thing is, you should never go forward if you're not going to get back again.
But is that the case of no wide man playing? Is it becoming more and more apparent? Because obviously...
No. Do you ever listen to me, you? If you're playing a 4, a diamond midfield, your full-backs give you width. Mm-hmm. That is the point of it. You have 2 centre-backs and Cambiasso sitting in front of them. Right? And at the head of the diamond, we've had Andy Peake. On the sides, Matty James... Andy
Andy
Peake.
Peake, bring him back in, be alright.
At the head of the diamond, can you imagine? Boom! Peake, in you go.
It's not gone, it's
40
only
yards.
Andy Peake.
But Andy King at the head of the diamond, first direction, and Danny Drinkwater on the right hand side. So yes, there isn't any width there because you expect the fullbacks to go forward and give you your width, right?
My point being is that on last season, of course, we had Sir Lloyd Dyer and Paul Konchesky down the left hand side, and I thought as a pair they worked very, very well together. When Paul Konchesky went forward, Lloyd Dyer had the intelligence to
drop
think,
back.
to think actually, yeah, Paul Konchesky's gone on a run, but if this move breaks down,
yeah, but you don't even think that. You just do that. That
oh,
happens.
of course, over a period of training, it becomes natural, doesn't it?
Yeah. Jeffrey Sloop did the same. I remember saying when Jeffrey Sloop was playing left back, Lloyd Dyer was playing wide left. I'd hate to be the right back.
Yeah.
You see this go boom, flying past you, and then you think the next one, boom, against you. But that was a different person.
I mean, Mackham McLachlan has tweeted in and he says, we need to get back to the system that got us promoted. 2 strikers, 2 wingers and a settled team week in, week out. Above all, everyone needs to stop moaning and just keep the faith. Well, Leicester till I die. But I don't know if we can just say, oh, let's play it like last season, because that was the championship. I think Pearson's right.
But we still had some unbelievable performances in that championship year. Matt Towers has gotten touched. Consistency is missing. Seems like Pearson doesn't quite know his best formation or 11 just yet. I'm not so sure about that. Not quite sure about that because from week to week, players' form fluctuates. You know, and in training they might be having not such a good time. Things aren't going right. Your first touch is coming. Your first touch is a clearance, for example.
All picked up a bit of a knock on Thursday or Friday.
But he goes on to say pace and width would be good to see again. Mahrez, Noki combination. All is not lost. Now, Mahrez and Anthony Knockaert, no matter how much people think I don't like the wee fella, I thought he might have been the key against West Brom to try and lock the door. A little dribbler, drag players round about him to release a free player, etc. But with the two of them, the problem that you've maybe got is your defensive side. Does Richie Delac go beyond Anthony Knockaert? Anthony Knockaert's not the greatest player, and you would never start him in the right back position, would you?
No.
Mahrez, would you start him in the left back position, because he's going to find himself playing there at times during the game, as is Anthony. Then they both get to get up the front and be creative. It's not an easy job. It's probably apart from a striker, which is the hardest job of all, putting the ball in the back of the net. No, it is. You laugh, you mock, but it is. Why do you think strikers cost most money? I rest my case. Shut up. Right. Mahrez and Anthony Knockaert and the wide, you can't imagine them, Richie Delac going beyond them, Paul Conchetta, and then them having to defend as the left back, right back. Attacking wise, I think you'll see them. I've said this before as well. All these players, you'll see them before the end of the season, because every player will have a role to play. It's just when they do it, get a win and keep yourself in the team.
I'm surprised he's not used them more as game changers. When we've been a goal down or when we've been 0-0 and in a situation where we could possibly push on, I'm surprised that the likes of Mahrez and Knockaert then haven't been used as game changers for us to go and make something happen.
Why not?
He doesn't seem to have used that tactic.
Why not?
Why not what?
Tell me why. Give me a reason why.
Why
he's not been playing it. Give me a reason why.
Well, that's what I'm saying to you. I don't understand why he hasn't done that.
I think he's trying to keep it close. I think he's just trying to go toe to toe with these teams and trying to stick as close as he can.
But you're 1-0 down against West Bromwich Albion with 15
think,
minutes to go, and the substitutions were 1 for 1. They were like for like. Why not go and have a go at getting it back?
When we were 1-0 down against West Brom with 15 minutes to go, again I turned to one of my kids and I said, "Do you know what? You were mentioning Lord Dyer. We said, oh, if we had somebody like Lord Dyer, just bomb on down there. Because last season, he would come on for 15 minutes. But we said, well, there's no Dyer, so Mahrez or Knockaert or just somebody who's just going to try and twist something on. Pam did come on and do a little bit of flair, a little bit of something to get the crowd
something different
going.
as well.
Yeah.
Something different for West Brom to think about.